Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back. Today is going to be a little bit different. There will be mostly only three videos. The video that we'll be doing now will be the video you will be watching, and then the next video would be something else, maybe with the Project Veritas or James O'Keefe stuff, if that happens. But what I am doing right now is that the third video will be up today, maybe way later in the day or what have you, but I need to finish making that video and post that because that's the one that's being finished. The only thing I have to do is really review, and hopefully that I can get that out within a reasonable time. So that's the reason why it's going to be a little bit different today. And also, to finish off, we will have this video that was pretty much going to be this young woman, to where there has been more information being let out by Lia Thomas and all the things that's been going on. Some of the threats are blackmail that these corporations / companies are doing, and there's some of the reason why women are not being able to speak out. And I will tell you first and foremost, ladies, have the courage. You are American. I know it's stupid to say that, but you are American, and you have the ability, and you should be able to speak out. People will rally with you. Will rally with you when you speak out. I think people don't seem to realize that we will rally again with you. We will protect you from the mob. We will make sure that you have other places, because this needs to be stopped. I think a lot more people are against this than the left knows, and they're just trying to control by fear. If they're controlled by fear, that's how they get us. But if they don't, well, what power do they have? All right, guys, check out this clip, and then we'll go over it.
University of Kentucky women's swimming star, who's called out the Biden administration over what she calls its gender ideology propaganda, attending the State of the Union address last night. Riley Gaines raising concerns about a White House push for transgender athletes to compete in sports based on their gender identity rather than their biological sex. You have been a tireless campaigner to ensure female athletes have an equal opportunity to perform in women's sports. Let me just repeat that. To ensure female athletes have an equal opportunity to perform in women's sports. The fact that you even have to do that is beyond ironic.
It's beyond ironic, and honestly, you have all these people all the time tell me how courageous it is to speak to this and how brave I am. But truthfully, does it make someone brave to just acknowledge that women deserve equal opportunities? That's how far we've come as a society and within our culture.
Right, and you have been roundly criticized by many people for taking this stance.
Right.
But this is a situation that is unique to women's sports, because you don't hear about male athletes fighting to make sure that male athletes have an equal opportunity to compete in men's sports.
No.
No, I mean, if a woman transitions to a man and competes in men's sports, it's going to be no competition.
Exactly.
But if it goes the other way around, as it did with Lia Thomas, you go from number 462 to number 1 overnight.
Exactly, and I think that's important, worth noting. All of these state bills that are being passed, everyone who's arguing in opposition of these fairness in women's sports bills, they're talking about trans women being able to compete. And it's because trans men, they're not under jeopardy. The men's category is not under threat. It's the women's category that's under threat.
Right. So one of the things that you are campaigning against with the NCAA is to make sure that men who have transitioned to be a woman do not share the same locker room as female athletes.
Correct.
Did you share a locker room with Lia Thomas?
Yes. The NCAA, of course, we competed against Thomas, but we were not forewarned beforehand that we would be sharing a locker room with Lia. We did not give our consent. They did not ask for our consent. But in that locker room, we turned around and there's a 6'4" biological man dropping his pants and watching us undress. And we're exposed to male genitalia. And so that,
because
to me,
he hasn't had surgery, gender-affirming surgery.
Correct. At the time, correct. And so that, to me, was worse than the competition piece. Not even probably a year or 2 years ago, this would have been considered some form of sexual assault, voyeurism. But now, not even are they just allowing it to happen, it's almost as if these large organizations are encouraging it to happen. Of course, after our NCAA championships, the NCAA then nominated Thomas for NCAA Woman of the Year. So we're celebrating this movement. This isn't something that happened by chance on a one-off basis. They're encouraging men to compete in women's sports.
Now, following graduation, it was your intent to go to dental school. You have put that off because you want to continue this battle that you have begun. And you told me off camera that you're hoping that other female athletes
Correct.
will step up to the plate here, but they're not.
Correct.
And why don't you think they are?
You know, People are terrified, especially speaking from my experience of talking to other NCAA swimmers specifically. Lia Thomas's teammates even, they're told their school has made their stance for them. They're told that if they feel uncomfortable seeing male genitalia in the locker room, then they should seek counseling resources. They're told that they will never get into grad school if they speak out. All of these terrible, awful things that aren't true. They're told, of course, they'll be called a bigot and hateful and transphobic. But it doesn't make you any of those things to acknowledge that there are two sexes. You cannot change your sex, and women deserve respect and equal opportunities.
We'll keep watching you, and we hope that you'll get the chance to go to dental school one of these days.
Thank you so much.
Riley, good to meet you.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
So yes, she was obviously been exposed to male genitalia at that point in time, and they gave no warning. And I think that these companies are constantly giving women no warning to put these men into these sports and events, and this is what happens with the this type of stuff. Again, there is an article that I may or may not do. I don't know if I'll do it today or if I'll do it next week. But I think it needs to go over. The only reason why I don't want to do it is because it will make this video significantly longer because of how big the read is. But it is a very good read, and it explains on what these companies are doing to these young women, mostly young women, but mostly these children, and it's completely disgusting and horrible. In fact, I will show you the tweet after I'm done reading it, obviously, because this is something that needs to be pushed. This is something that needs to be gone through, because the mere fact that it is happening is completely vile, and I think all these hospitals, transgender hospitals, need to be immediately shut down. So, that being said, these women's, and she's right, these women's sports are under attack. They've been under attack for a while. The thing is that we've told you women that this was going to happen, and you just didn't believe us or didn't listen to us. So now when you push for it, you have this type of stuff. And this is the reason why I don't think this transition stuff is going to be working, just transgender stuff is not going to be working very well in the next 2-3 years, because the Reddit transition, I think, is just increasing by the day. I also think that that a lot more people are coming out about this stuff, and countries are pushing it away. And I don't see this where it's going to be make a grandstand in the U.S. because the Democrats are going to be once more information comes out and once more is pushed and pushed into the real life. The Democrats are not going to have a leg to stand on. They're going to have some real serious issues, and I don't think that it's not going to pay well to them at all. Schools will crumble and stuff like that. So I think that it will be a time for a huge reckoning, and the Democrats will suffer for it, and because this stuff is coming out. People are coming out, and it's almost every other week now where people are coming out, and they can't fight against all of this, which is good. And when I do release that, when I do read that document with you guys, I will show you that it is a lot worse than you guys probably think. So, yeah, but no, these women, their sports are in jeopardy. They kind of did it themselves, honestly, and honestly, them being not sexually assaulted is also at a high possibility, because again, these men don't really do this to protect women or anything. They usually want to do it to sexually assault them or take whatever women have for themselves. So that's the reality. And I don't think even the Democrats wanted to admit that these are men that are doing it for nefarious reasons rather than any other reason. So, yeah. This is the state of where our country is. Congratulations on this woman coming out and speaking out, because it means more coming from her in this today's society than it comes from men. So, it is what it is. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care.